Hey, Jed here. Those that know me of late probably know that I like to mess about with things. We buy stuff to make other things from. For example, a while ago we had a need to build a circular three-tiered display stand. So we headed off down to our local junk shop, I guess, and we bought an old table, which turned out to be quite a nice table, a drop leaf table with a red hardwood, which I'm presuming was mahogany, but it was, unlike these days, it was solid mahogany. And we duly made our three-tier display stand, which is in use to this day. There were various bits of that left over, which just got left around the garden really, where I'd broken it up. But being hardwood, it doesn't rot very easily. It just sat there happily, summer after summer, winter after winter, maturing, even though it was probably 100 years old already, I guess. And then, you know, we like to go to car boot sales, and there's one near us that you occasionally find some weird stuff. I bought things that remind me of my past. We bought things that we've added value to. We bought things that had a value that the unfortunate seller didn't realise had a value. So, you know, we do it for fun. And most of what we buy ends up on a shelf somewhere being more stuff just to collect dust. But we love it, so we keep it. Eventually we'll sell some of it and hopefully make a profit. But anyway, at one of those boot sales just over a year ago, I saw this little box. It's about 12 to 14 inches long, about 9 inches deep, with a nice little label on the front that said that it had originally presumably been a salesman's box, and it was full of watch crystals. Not when I bought it, but originally. Watch crystal is the piece of glass that goes on the front. It's quite often it's not glass, it's a form of crystal, hence why they call them watch crystals. And I thought, well, that's nice. Don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'll buy it anyway. And it was £2 or £3, I think. And it sat around for a while, and I thought, being a fan of the great Seasick Steve, if you ever get a chance and you don't know who he is, look him up. He's a genius of blues and funk blues, and he calls it, one of his songs, One String Trance Boogie, is unique, and his music's unique. 9 times out of 10 on him on stage is him and his drummer, and that's it, and he makes a fabulous sound. But he plays guitars made out of all sorts of odds and ends, hubcaps, cigar boxes, which is what we're going to come to, and he gets the most fantastic sounds out of these, basically guitars made of garbage. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that. I looked at this box and I thought that would be ideal to make a cigar box style guitar. Clearly it's not a cigar box. So I made one and wasn't happy with it because the wood that I used for the neck wasn't strong enough, which meant that the tension of the strings kept making it go out of tune. So my curiosity or my interest in it was reignited a few weeks ago, and I decided to cobble together some of the garbage that I've got hanging around to make me cigar box style guitar, and here it is. So I'll just talk you through roughly what it is. We've already talked about this. I'll show you now, look. There we go. See? I love that label. gives it something nice about it. I used the chair leg from the table I was talking about earlier. Obviously I've carved away at it and made it slimmer. Because it's a slide guitar, those people who know anything about guitars would know that a normal guitar would have frets running up and down it. Those brass lines that go across, which helps you to make a note. Slide guitars don't necessarily, well, they don't need those, but you do need a guide as to where each note's going to be. So basically I had some little brass tacks that I've kind of hammered in along the edges in the appropriate places, so that I can make the right sound at the right time. These are called machine heads. They're just from another project, or from a guitar that I decided I didn't like and took the bits to keep the bits off it. I'm a bit like that. This is just a bit of folded brass. I had a small sheet of brass hanging around and bent it into a scroll to use as what they call the nut. At the far end I've got another piece of another piece of table there as the bridge. Another piece of that lovely folded brass at the end there to keep the strings from digging into the wood and going out of tune. And then at the end I've just held the strings on there with 3 screws, nice and simple. So that's it really. And the thing being, because I didn't want to cut sound holes in this, when you play it without amplification it sounds a bit, I guess a bit like a ukulele or a banjo. Who wants a banjo when you're playing blues music? So I then dug around and found some electronics. Unfortunately I didn't have a pickup that works, so that's pretty much the only thing I've had to buy as new for this project. These switches I had from a guitar amp that I built years ago and then duly blew up. Obviously I didn't make it very well. And then inside, and this is the beauty of this, because it's a box, I can open it up and I've got some very basic spare strings. It's a box so you can keep your strings in it and anything else you want to. Some very basic electronics there. They help to control the sound in terms of volume and tone, and that's it really. This just keeps that pickup from moving around too much. So it's a bit kind of cobbled together. It's nothing very special. However, I've just had to delete a bit of that because my foot switch was on the wrong setting and it made the most horrendous sound when I plugged the guitar in. So I've got it where it needs to be now. To plug her in, switch it on, and you've got that hum. That hum tells us that this isn't a perfect guitar made by an expert, because there's a bit of feedback there. Listen. But isn't it beautiful? And you know, that's a kind of a the blues rock kind of tone, I suppose you would say. Not too heavy, but with a bit of feedback. But we can also go quite rocky, just by changing the setting slightly on the amp. And because of the way you tune these things, the strings on their own, unlike a standardly tuned, that word, unlike a normally tuned guitar, if you strum a normal guitar with no fingers or anything on there, it doesn't make a sensible sound, it doesn't make a chord. But the way these strings are tuned, they perform a G chord, which means that you can play, it's called an open tuning, which means I can play really simply with my little bottleneck rhythm guitar, just by moving this up and down. So we could do maybe one day I'll learn to play it properly. I can play some other stuff, but I'm not really very competent at it at the moment. When I get the hang of it, I'll do another little video maybe, but probably I won't because I'm shy. I'm not bothered about the music, that's not why I came and recorded this, but I'm very, very proud of a load of junk that you can play music on, and I made this. Bye bye everyone. First thing you must always remember with your amp is to plug it into the guitar before you switch it on.